Hello, kia ora, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks for joining us for our Wednesday weather update for February the 22nd. And a southerly with rain is moving up the South Island at the moment and moves into the North Island on the eastern side for the next couple of days ahead. So you can see it here later on across Wednesday. This is for Wednesday, sort of about 5 p.m. You can see that southerly moving up towards the South Island. High pressure out here near Tasmania, which is, by the way, producing temperatures over 45 degrees in some areas here. But on the New Zealand side, quite a bit cooler for the South Island especially. And you'll notice those temperatures dropping over the next day or so as it moves into the North Island. Here is the 3-day rainfall at a glance. Now, you can always drill down deeper at ruralweather.co.nz. But you can see here, we are expecting in Hawke's Bay some rain coming through, and it could get up to that 70 to 80 millimetre mark. We're sort of seeing numbers around 50 to 80 millimetres. Now that's a fair bit, but it's spread over a few days, and it's nothing compared to the rain you've just had. But it could certainly cause more slips, and on the positive side, bring some fresh drinking water, and also gets rid of some of that dust on the roads that is made by the silt, which in some areas you may not want to be breathing in. So there's some good news, but yeah, that amount of rain may be a little bit too much of a good thing. Please do stay up to date with any potential Met Service warnings and watches over the next day or two. And we've got rain as well for Canterbury. So this system moving up the country, good news for the lower South Island, which doesn't show much of that rain as it's now already fallen. So let's have a look at Australia at a glance as well, just out of interest. Most of the rain falling up here in the tropics, that's where you're getting up to the 100 millimetre mark. A surprising bit of rain across Western Australia, and a little bit of rain on the coastal sides here, maybe up to about 40 millimetres over here, just north of Sydney. So the reason why you're seeing a bit of rain over there in Sydney is due to the high moving into the South Island. So the South Island's encouraging this big sort of east to southeast wind, which is driving in wet weather for the eastern side of both nations. Most of it is up here around Hawke's Bay, unfortunately, due to the way it's sort of moving all the way up, kind of stops, and then it moves back down again. So it's just sort of a bit of a unfortunate timing for that. But like I say, it's spread out a wee bit over a few days. So that's one positive. But you will see that rain also accumulating up along the Australian coastline, and no sign of any major problems in the tropics, but a little bit of low pressure here worth monitoring around Fiji. As we move through to the end of the week, you still see that wet weather stuck over the North Island coming in as an easterly. It'll be dry in most other places further to the west, including parts of Auckland, where the rain will be a bit sort of patchy if it does come through. High pressure comes back to the South Island though. Hot weather over here. Adelaide's got a temperature of around about 37, 38 degrees. I guess make the most of it, because as you go into the weekend, it drops to about 23 or 24. That's a sign a bit really of autumn, not so much the 38 degrees, but these cooler changes of 23, 24 around coastal areas of the South Island of Australia, and over in the South Island changes dropping you down to the low double digits. So it is a bit of a hint that autumn is building, and it doesn't usually have a major change to our pattern, just these odd sort of southerly injections driving in a little bit of a temperature drop, maybe a little bit of wet weather moving up the country. So by Sunday, we've got still rain and showers around Hawke's Bay, but they are sliding away, and the forecast is looking more optimistic. Please do keep up to date with the Rural Weather and Weather Watch forecasts. That's a much more detailed outlook than what I'm just showing you here, sort of as an overview. And then the next nearest sort of low to New Zealand is out here over Tasmania, blocked by high pressure. And we've still got an area of low pressure up here in the tropics. It's very large. At this stage isn't posing any issues, but it's definitely worth, as we said the last day or two, it's worth keeping an eye on because we're in the peak of the cyclone season over the next 6 weeks. Doesn't mean that if one forms, it comes to us, but it does mean if one forms, you'll start hearing people talk about it. And we've got a few showers, hit and miss kind of things around on Monday, because it's a little bit messy on the edge of that high pressure, this one here, that's moving away. So some of that wet weather kind of slides down to the South Island again, but it's not widespread, and it may be more sort of a bit of drizzle in the morning and a heavier downpour coming in through the afternoon. Generally speaking, the weather pattern in New Zealand is a little bit unsettled. It really has been for the last few months, especially the North Island. So we're not really seeing any big changes to that at the moment, but it's just, I guess for Hawke's Bay, don't really want maybe that much rain. It does certainly increase the risk of slips, which is a problem as they're trying to clear the roads up. So it's not necessarily a problem for everyday people, but there could be some issues with those who are trying to clean stuff up. Anyway, that is all from me for now. We'll update you again tomorrow with the next update on that rain, and hopefully, some brighter forecasts in there for you as well. We'll see you soon.